And what it does is it uses AI and keywords to be able to find key moments inside of the video and allow us to generate clips out of that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the next edition of Conversations with Brent. I really want to thank everyone that has liked or subscribed, those that have watched our shorts. We really appreciate it. But we wanted to do something for you this time. We wanted to give you a little more information as to what goes into making Conversations with Brent. So I want to welcome back Arthur Swartz. Arthur, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Brent. How are you?
I'm good. And so what we want to do is Arthur's going to show you all a little bit about what tools we use and what he does to make Conversations with Brent. Arthur, take it away, please.
Thanks, Brent. So I just want to walk you guys through how to use one of the podcast systems that we utilize with our guests that we started utilizing on my episode with Conversation with Brent, and that's called Riverside FM. So for anyone who is joining in with a conversation with Brent, this is the system that we use, and it's very similar to Zoom or Microsoft Teams, any kind of video chatting software. The big thing is that it just records better quality audio and video, so that way we can have the highest quality audio and video to be able to post online when we post the video portion of this podcast. So let's walk through how to join a Riverside session with Brent from a web browser. Now, if we're using a web browser on a desktop or a laptop device, you're going to want to use Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, as Riverside does not work very well with Safari or support it. So you're going to want to start there and then join that. So let's jump to that. So as you can see here, this is what the email looks like when Brent sends it out. It says, hey, Brent has invited you to be a guest on Conversations with Brent, and he'll usually have a title to the episode as well and what the studio session is called. And all we would need to do from here is click this join session link. So we don't need to have Riverside downloaded for this. So we can just go ahead and click onto this. And you can see here that it just asks us to put in our name. It's going to ask us, are you using headphones or are you not using headphones? And then over here on the right side, because I'm recording with my camera, it's not going to show camera settings right now, but you'll see a preview of your camera if you are using a camera, and then it'll ask you what microphone you're wanting to use. If you're using your headphones, you can just have that, and they'll probably be the same for either of these options. But this is your microphone, and then this is your speaker. If you're using a separate microphone like what Brent and I use, links down below in the description, then you can actually select that microphone and then select different speakers or select your headphones. So it's just going to be dependent on what device you're on and what you have hooked up to that device. So for those of you that are joining Riverside from your phone or tablet, there is an app available, and you can just look it up in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, riverside.fm, or just look up Riverside. It's one of the first apps that pops up, so you can see it here on my iPad. And really all you would need to do is just download the app. And then once you download the app, you'll go back to your email and click the link, and it'll link you right back to the app. And then you'll just be able to start your conversation with Brent right from there. Another version of our workflow is after a video posts on the YouTube channel, I will also take the link to that YouTube video and go to this website here. So this is opus.pro, or what's known as Opus Clip. This is an AI tool that I'm using right now to actually take the video and chop it up into shorts. And what it does is it uses AI and keywords to be able to find key moments inside of the video and allow us to generate clips out of that. And as you can see here, so scrolling through one of the last episodes that we had posted last week with former NFL offensive tackle Willie Anderson, you can see that what it does is it takes some of the clips and it just, or it takes the video, the long form video, and cuts it together. And I think this was like a 20-minute video, but what it's done is it's given me about, actually it says up here, it's a 33-minute video, and it gave me about 15 clips. Now, some of the clips, I'll be honest, are really duplicated, and they just kind of find the best versions of the clip. But the nice thing is that it gives us a title. It gives us the actual text, and it already does captioning for us. So these are huge time savers for me. I've used other tools. Video.ai is another one that I've used in the past. I kind of bounce back and forth. Right now, Opus Clip has been one of like my saving grace, because it really saves me time in cutting together these clips and being able to get them posted a lot faster. And this is the YouTube shorts that you guys will find on Conversations with Brent's YouTube channel. But yeah, I'll take this video that we're recording right now, and I'll also throw this into this software and just have it spit out clips to recommend. Even if it's all just inspiration for me, I can take that into the video editing tool, go find the time that it was talking about and re-edit that portion, or just cut together that portion. And then I have different tools that I'll show you when I switch over to using the iPad to walk you through editing tools that I use and text editors that I use to help speed up my time with editing in general. But yeah, this is a major tool that I utilize. And the nice thing is that you can actually post directly from Opus Clip to your YouTube, and they actually are working on, I think, integrating Facebook or Instagram, but also TikTok. So you can have this, you can have Opus automatically linked to your social media accounts, and then just take what you're trying to work on and just post it out there. It is a huge time saver for me, and be able to generate content on a more frequent basis. One of the other tools that I use is of course, a video editor, and I actually use my iPad Pro to be able to edit videos for Conversations with Brent. And I use a software called LumaFusion. And I had actually brought this up in our last video, but right now I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff that I do inside of LumaFusion. So as you can see here, we're taking a look at my timeline for the last video that I created for Brent, which was the Willie Anderson interview. And I start off, I have some assets inside of a folder that I use on iCloud Drive to share content between myself and Brent. So that way, if he records a session without me, he can upload it into the folder, and then I can pull it down and start to work on that content from here. But as you can see, this asset here is that intro video for Conversations with Brent. It's an intro video that I created a few months ago. We still utilize it today, but it's always inserted. It's usually one of the last things that I insert. But one of the other things that I do inside of here is I have a short version of the audio for that intro that I usually lead into here, and that's what you're seeing right here. That is the short version, a shortened version that kind of fades out, and then we start the video. So I usually do a close-up of Brent at the beginning of each conversation with Brent, so you don't see exactly the guest, although I usually also at the beginning have like a 15 to 30 second teaser of the video, so that way we can try to show people what's possibly going to happen inside of the video. And then we'll go into the conversation. If we're talking with a guest, I'll usually try to keep it where you see mostly just the guest speaking. I've gone back and forth between how I cut these. Sometimes I'll include Brent in some portions. If there's a mutual conversation between the two of them, I will do that. I've worked to insert assets like this Conversations with Brent header at the top. So that way, when you're looking at this, you can see that this is a Conversations with Brent episode. And then it's pretty much from here, I just go through and I cut together the conversation, making sure that I'm switching between the guest and Brent. And that's usually how this kind of bounces forth. It's a pretty simple edit overall. I don't do anything too complex other than this here is actually, because this was recorded on Zoom, or even if it was recorded on Riverside, I'm taking 2 clips and I'm putting them together. Or in this case, I'm actually duplicating the clip. So that way I can stack them side by side. I can crop the videos and I can move them how I want them inside of the frame. And that's usually how I would go about doing that. And then the other last part of this is making sure that I have the end scene that allows you to see the previous video. This is another asset that I created for the channel. And a lot of this I've actually created in a different system called Procreate, or a different app called Procreate, and we'll jump into that a little bit shortly to show you how I edit thumbnails. But yeah, overall, this is how I go about editing this. And the nice thing about LumaFusion too, so since Conversations with Brent is now also a podcast, an audio only version, the other thing that I do is I will go in and I can export this not only as a video, but I can export this as just audio and then upload it to Spotify, which I'll walk you through kind of how I do that as well. But yeah, this is LumaFusion. LumaFusion is $30 in the App Store. But in my opinion, it's been well worth it. I've been able to get a lot out of it. I haven't really pushed it too far into its limits. In some aspects, I have, but I've been able to manage it. And I think it's the combination of utilizing this and then utilizing some other tools to kind of help feed into LumaFusion so that way the videos look high quality. But yeah, this overall is the software that I use to create Conversations with Brent. So this is Procreate, what you're seeing on screen right now. And Procreate is the app that I use to create thumbnails for Conversations with Brent, as well as I use this to create the new logo for Conversations with Brent. I don't know if any of you have been watching since the beginning of the year. The logo's changed. We've changed a lot of the animation and the graphics. And I used Procreate to be able to create a lot of this. So this is down here at the bottom. You can see one of the original styles that I had created the thumbnail with, including Brent's logo and including a picture of the guest. And then from there, as we got to live shots, or we're shooting videos live, I'd take a picture using one of my cameras to be able to capture a really high quality image of Brent and the guest, and then started inserting them into these circles here. And I got that inspiration from another YouTube channel. But then seeing if we can play around with text and colors to be able to change it. Even when we had a birthday special with Kendall, I used a black background and just tried to create a different vibe for this. I have a couple of variations of Brent's Conversations with Brent logo that I've created just for different purposes and just to see and play around with the logo that we created. But yeah, you can see here, basically what I do is I take images of the guest, and you can actually, inside of Procreate, it's very similar to Photoshop. There's different layers. So I can actually turn on and off the layers, and I usually duplicate a lot of these so that you can see it's very similar each time that I create it's just the text is a little different, but it's usually a really easy and simple edit for me. So I start off with with Brent and the guest in 2 different circles, and then I bring them over without a background to be able to kind of have them stand out of the circle. And that's how you get that effect where they're standing out of that circle, and just being able to give a really nice kind of more professional look to the thumbnail, and just try to make it a little bit more attractive to people, for people to be able to click on. So I've come a long way with designing these. I started really simple, gray background, really simple background. I really tried to copy and mimic what Brent had before. I didn't really change a lot. And then as this continued to progress, I really took it to a different level. Again, redesigning the logo, redesigning kind of how we did things, so that way we could continue to push the envelope. And when I don't have guest pictures, I try to find the best pictures that I can on the internet. So you can see here, this one is of Willie Anderson playing in the NFL. And I found this online and just decided to enter it in. And then you can see when I don't have a good photo, of Brent, or a photo from this episode, I usually just grab this photo of Brent and place this in the thumbnail. It's a very consistent photo for a lot of it. This is Procreate. The next part of this is, how do we get conversations with Brent from being a YouTube video into a podcast? So we use a program called, what used to be called Anchor FM, but now is owned by Spotify. So it's just called Spotify Podcasters, I believe. But as you can see here, this is basically where Conversations with Brent comes from. And when it comes to being a podcast. So I have all of the episodes here, and all I basically do is I upload a new episode, put in a title for the new episode, and I will just upload the audio. So when you saw me in LumaFusion, you saw the ability for me to export the video version into an audio version only. So I will literally, after getting the video done, having it export out of LumaFusion, I will export out an audio version so I can upload it to Spotify. And then Spotify then distributes it out using an RSS feed into the other platforms. So usually the Spotify version will get uploaded first, and then all of the other versions will follow suit. I've seen it take anywhere from like 30 minutes to like an hour before, but this is a free platform. So getting Conversations with Brent out as a podcast was actually a lot easier than I thought it was. And honestly, I wish we had started sooner, because these extended conversations are super easy to listen to in a podcast form. So if you guys didn't realize that Conversations with Brent is a podcast, please check out the link below, and you'll be able to find the podcast on any podcast platform that you listen to. So just look up Conversations with Brent. One of the final tools I just wanted to show you guys is an app called Mixed Captions, and there's a bunch of different apps out there. This is just one that I decided to utilize. It works really easily, and it's super simple to figure out. So what I'm doing here is I can take a video like this short form video, and this is all I typically use Mixed Captions for, is for editing shorts, but I can have it actually generate the captions for me. So that way, while it's not 100% accurate, it's a lot easier for me to have the AI figure out all of the captions and then me go back and change the captions that it messed up on, versus having to hand type each portion of the video and figure out what Brent is saying and having it repeat back each time or multiple times. This just makes it a lot easier. And you can see here, it's already completed that part. So now I just need to scroll through and see, does all of it make sense? Maybe reposition it, change the color, and go from there. And then once I'm done, I can export this out and then put it right into YouTube from here.
Oh man, that was amazing, man. I never knew all the work that it took to do what you do. We appreciate it. So we want to thank you all once again for the views, the shares, the likes. Conversations with Brent, connecting with people on all levels.